Okay, let's go over a few of the questions from our worksheet today. So at the very top, you'll notice our little look closely section. It says, use a comma to separate the name of a town or a city from the name of a state. In a sentence, place a comma after the state too, unless it comes at the end of the sentence. So I'm under the Think A portion right now. Let's just look at a few from the Think A portion. It says, read each sentence carefully, use proofreader's marks to add the necessary commas. So number 1, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there are 4 giant arches made of elk antlers. Where do you think the commas should go? You guessed it, we should separate Jackson Hole from Wyoming because even though it's 2 words, Jackson Hole is one place. So Jackson Hole, comma, Wyoming, but don't we also need a comma after the state? Unless it comes at the end. Yes. In Jackson Hole, comma, Wyoming, comma, there are 4 giant arches made of elk antlers. Let's look at number 2. A statue of Abraham Lincoln stands next to the highway near Laramie, Wyoming. You're right, we do need to separate these 2 places. We need to separate this town or city from the state of Wyoming. A statue of Abraham Lincoln stands next to the highway near Laramie, comma, Wyoming. Now, because Wyoming comes at the end of the sentence, we don't need to put a comma. Number 3, if you travel near Beaufort, Wyoming, you will see a tree growing out of a big rock. Where do you think the comma should go? You guessed it, we should separate Beaufort and the state Wyoming. If you travel near Beaufort, comma, Wyoming, we also need another comma after the state. Because remember, the state isn't at the end of the sentence, so we do need a comma after the end of the state, unless it comes at the end. If you travel near Beaufort, Wyoming, you will see a tree growing out of a big rock. Okay, go ahead and try the rest of Think A portion on your own. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Now, under the Think B portion of your worksheet, it says rewrite each sentence, adding the necessary capitalization and commas. Number 1, Abraham Lincoln was born in Hodgenville, Kentucky. You're right, we do need to capitalize Abraham. It's a name and it comes at the beginning of the sentence. And Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was born in Hodgenville, Kentucky. So we do need to capitalize this place and this state. But we're not finished yet. Don't we need a comma to separate this town or city from the state? Yes. Now we don't need a comma after the state of Kentucky because it comes at the end of a sentence. Let's look at number 2. We saw a beautiful sunset in Green River, Wyoming. You're right, we should capitalize we. That's at the beginning of a sentence. Green River, Wyoming, that's a place. So we do want to capitalize proper nouns or places. And we're going to capitalize Wyoming because it's a state. We saw a beautiful sunset in Green River, even though there's 2 words, that's one place. Green River, comma, Wyoming. We do want to separate Green River from Wyoming. We don't need a comma at the end of Wyoming because that is at the very end of the sentence. All right, now let's look at a few from the Think C section. It says, try some other cities and states. Use proofreader's marks to add the necessary commas. So we're just going to do 1 and 2 together. Number 1, Jack and Julia live in Pensacola, Florida. Since this is a place in Florida, town or city in Florida, the state, we want to separate these 2 with a comma. Jack and Julia live in Pensacola, comma, Florida. Florida is at the end of the sentence, so we don't need a comma at the end. Number 2, Battle Creek, Michigan is where breakfast cereal is made. You guessed it, Battle Creek and Michigan should be separated with a comma. Battle Creek, although it's 2 words, it's one place. Battle Creek, comma, Michigan is where breakfast cereal is made. But wait, isn't the state of Michigan not at the end of the sentence? Yeah, because it's not at the end, we also need to insert a comma after the state. Now, if Michigan was at the end of the sentence, we wouldn't need to do that. But it's right here in the middle, so we do want to add a comma. Battle Creek, comma, Michigan, comma, is where breakfast cereal is made. Go ahead and try the rest of Think C on your own.